Stilian Petrov, who, of course, played for both with distinction, and Martin O'Neill, who managed both with distinction. Thank you both for joining us. First of all, from our end, and from a long way away, it looked like a cracking game, Martin.
Well, we were treated to a magnificent match. Absolutely fantastic. Aston Villa 2-0 up in 4 minutes. Thought it was going to be a cakewalk. Celtic fought back brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. And as Brendan Rodgers mentioned in an earlier interview, the game was in the balance for a long period of time. You felt as if that Aston Villa would be the side that would get the next goal, which they did do. Then they missed a penalty after that, and but Celtic never out of the game. And it was just a magnificent match, and everybody's pleased here because Aston Villa finished in the top 8, and Celtic are through, which were there last week, and performed excellently.
Stan, as a midfielder with an eye for goal, how good is...
Well summed,
Stan, as a midfielder with an eye for goal, how good is young Morgan Rodgers, in your view?
I mean, he was a joy to watch. I mean, we talked about him before the game, what he offers to the Villa team, what he brings to the Villa team. He was just outstanding. We saw everything from a young man. He looked like a mature player. He looked like he's going to be a star because he could have scored another 2. But in the second half, Brendan Rodgers has changed the tactic a little bit. He put few players to man-mark Rodgers, and he has just managed to adapt, to move to a different position and find space so he can score goals. He was magnificent.
Martin, Stan, it's Ali in the studio. I must admit, my eye on the Villa game more than anything. I want to ask...
It's where you should be.
I want to ask the two of you a question, if I may. I'm looking at Celtic tonight, coming back from 2-0 down after 5 minutes. But in the grand scheme of things, in the campaign so far, coming back from a 7-0 in Dortmund, I know it's pleased you. Has it surprised you?
Well, the result, the next game after that, Ali, was the most important one because they went to Atalanta and got a result there. I know Schmeichel made some fantastic saves, but I think that gave them a wee bit of confidence, or restored some confidence after the debacle in Dortmund. But their efforts have been excellent. I know that the format definitely has suited teams like Celtic because you always felt as if you were in with a chance. I suppose maybe at the start when they saw some of the games that they had to play, maybe they didn't think that young boys Bern and perhaps Bratislava would be as bad as they were. But even so, taking nothing away from it, they've qualified, they're through, and they on tonight's performance against a very, very strong Aston Villa side, you would have to say that they'll not fear anybody at Celtic Park anyway.
No, and Villa, as you've both rightly pointed out, Stan.
I totally agree.
Go ahead, Stan.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think Borussia Dortmund game and Aston Villa tonight was just a step too far for Celtic, especially today, missing Kyogo, Maeda and Carter Vickers. It seems like the club do have to recruit and recruit well, because playing in a Champions League, you need the key players, the players that make the difference. And tonight, we've seen, especially in the second half, when Villa just found so much space in the second half. Ollie Watkins were one-on-one all the time, finding space, creating chances, and Celtic just couldn't deal with it. That's why it's so important for the next stage to add the right players to help them to probably get better results.
Well, we'll see who they get in Friday's draw. It will be either Bayern or Real Madrid.
Great to see you, lads.
Lovely to see you both. Thank you both very much for joining us, spending the time. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Stan and Martin. Let's hear from the Aston Villa camp. Let's hear from the boss, Unai Emery, with Danny Jameson.
Very fun game for us to watch. What are your thoughts on your side's performance tonight?
Happy, very happy. Of course, thankful every supporter they were enjoying here with us and transmitting the energy. And then in 90 minutes, we played a fantastic match. But after 2-0, I was very demanding with them to try to play personality like we more or less want to build and to create here in our structure, collectively and individually as well. with the mentality how we want get it. And the second half we play fantastic, even better than the first half. The first 20 minutes was fantastic, but then we lost a little bit again our control of the game. And Sunday was the same as West Ham, and of course we avoided the second half to have some problems because we were controlling better and we were creating chances like the first half.
The win coincided with the other results means that you have finished in the top 8 in the Champions League. How pleased are you with that in the first Champions League campaign for Aston Villa in 40 odd years?
Fantastic. When we won here in Bayern Munich, we focused as well the possibility to be contender to be in the top 8 because we started with two wins. And then, more or less, with the result we had in Bruges, with the result we had in Monaco, we were as well in risk to lose it. But of course, today again, we because for another teams as well, it's not been easy. Real Madrid, even Bayern Munich, Juventus, PSG, they started as a contender to be favorite to be in the top 8. But they didn't get it. And of course, we are very happy, and we more or less we are being consistent, and more or less as well, the challenge we have together, we did it. And today, with our supporters here at home, I think it was fantastic where we achieved it here today.
And you're doing it with another defensive reshuffle. How is Matty Cash, and how pleased were you with the way that your defence managed to regroup after his injury?
Of course, we weren't playing in Europe, less risk to get some injured players. But we had to accept it, and of course now, hopefully it's not a lot, but Cash, he had one injury, and hopefully tomorrow with the test we will do, hopefully it's not a lot.
Obviously, it being January, looking at John Duran out in the tunnel, it looked like he was saying his goodbyes. Has he played his last game for Aston Villa?
Tomorrow or Friday we can speak about the transfer, or maybe next week, because until everything is not done, I don't want to speak, because in football everything can happen. And of course we are working, the club is working as well. We are trying to compete as well in the transfer window because we need some players, and of course someone as well can leave, but it's not time to speak about it.
And on a similar note, there were reports today that Ollie Watkins is the subject of interest from Arsenal. Are you confident he'll be an Aston Villa player by the end of the window?
I know you want to ask about it, but I told you today is not the day.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. The straight bat, inevitably. But well done to Danny Jameson for asking the question, because it's the question we all want answers to. It sounds, reading a little bit between the lines, that John Duran is likely to happen. I don't want to speak before it's done. That's kind of manager speak for we're waiting for the dots and the I's and the T's to be crossed, doesn't it? Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly the way he said there, he said, let's wait until tomorrow and then see. But so he's not denying it, is he?
No. And reports in the tunnel, we haven't got pictures to prove this, but reports from our people at Villa that he's in the tunnel after the game giving gifts to some of the members of Villa staff. I mean, that's...
Well, it's not everybody's birthday, is it?
No.
So... I would be flabbergasted if he's not away on that flight tomorrow.
It might be to say congratulations for getting the top 8.
I know.
You know.
It might be. It might be. Yeah. Ollie Watkins knows. You can't sell both. You cannot sell both.
No.
Oh, no. You can't sell both. I mean, it's an amazing... We spoke about it. What a dilemma it is. Because he's actually in the perfect situation where he wants to be.
Yeah.
He's got two great strikers fighting for that position.
A young one and an old one.
But one of them wants away because he wants to play more. It's a catch-22, really, in many ways.
Of course, Brendan Rodgers has lost one of his strikers, although it looks like he's getting one in Jota. Here is the Celtic manager post-match with Danny.
Brendan, it was a tremendous game to watch for the neutral. What are your initial thoughts after that one?
Well, the word that screams at me is pride. You know, I think that the game is right in the balance, right through into extra time. We obviously had a really challenging start, you know, to be 2-0 down, and that first 10 minutes was what was a real test for the team. But I actually thought we started the game well with the ball, but then we conceded the couple of goals, especially the second one, deflection. But then the mentality of the team to find their way back into the game, to pose the threat, score the goals. The second goal was a brilliant goal, and And then, like I say, we always carried a threat in the game. We knew we had to defend and do all of those things, but yeah, game right in the balance to the end. We're having to bring on kids for making the first appearances for Celtic in a in any competition. So to do it in the Champions League, yeah, it was just pride is my initial feeling.
Does it show the maturity that you've talked about, that to go 2-0 down after 4 minutes at a place like this, raucous atmosphere, to staunch the bleeding, come back into it and get those 2 goals as quickly as you did?
Yeah, well, spirit is absolutely key. There's no good team that doesn't possess a really strong spirit, and this is what this group have. So yeah, just rocked in that wee early stage of the game, having started well and shown confidence. I thought we had nice authority in the game with the ball. And like I say, he scored 2 very, very good goals. A couple of moments in the second half where we arrive up there. We also, I think we can relieve a little bit of pressure with the ball and just make those extra passes in the build-up. But no, that's been super critical, I think, for the guys to come here and show that attitude in the game. It was a great effort.
Pleased for Adam Eder as well. I know he had the goal last week taken off him, but 2 goals today. Seems to be spending a lot more time between the posts as well.
Yeah, well, that's his job. His job's to make runs, make bright runs. I thought the 2 goals, 2 were great finishes, especially the first one because he's having to react. His movement into the box was good. He's made a couple of runs and then it falls to them after the deflection and gets the finish. So yeah, he needs to get up to game speed. But the 2 finishes were great. He was a handful for the guys, and now with fitness, hopefully the pressing gets better and more consistent. But yeah, 2 really good finishes.
Now into the draw on Friday, we know the 2 possible opponents, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. A really exciting challenge for your side, whoever you end up playing.
Well, yeah, it's what the players, so they deserve that for what they've given over the course of the 8 games. For us to be in the position, it's absolutely great achievement by them, and now they and the supporters, we can all enjoy whoever we play, and then we'll give everything we possibly can.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bayern or Real with the first leg at Celtic Park? Lively.
Would you go, Ali?
Next to Rod Stewart?
I'm not sure I'd be sitting next to Rod.
No?
No, I'd maybe be sitting next to Harry Kane's dad. But no,
You might be sat next to Darren Fletcher.
in all seriousness, what a draw.
I know.
I mean, that is...
And they've earned it, as he rightly points out.
Of course they've earned it. You know, even tonight, you know, I felt, I mean, I feared the worst for them.
Yeah.
I genuinely feared the worst for them. 5 minutes, Karen and I were looking at each other, 2-0, and remember, Watkins has got a great chance to make it 3.
Yeah.
Johnson gets back in the line and does well. So, no, they've done themselves proud, and they've earned that draw. I mean, what a great draw for them.